In this video, we're going to dive into a few real estate trends right here in San Diego, let you know what's happening in the San Diego real estate market. And I'm always asking you guys, what videos do you want us to make? What neighborhoods do you want us to cover? What updates do you want to see? And somebody left a comment right down below. So that's what we're going to jump into today. How's it looking for Crown Point? Now, that's a super micro neighborhood, obviously down in 92109. So we're going to give you the broad picture of San Diego County, compare that to 92109. And then we'll dive into specifically that Crown Point section of that area. So give you a little bit better idea as you get more micro. It's so important to know what's going on, because as we see what's going on in those neighborhoods, you know, some of the numbers might be a little bit different, but you're like, why did that house sell? Why did this one sit? All that kind of stuff. So we'll get into a few numbers back there as well and let you know what's happening. So if you guys want to know what's happening in your neck of the woods, drop some comments. Like I said, we're making videos for you guys. And like I said, as we get more micro into specific situations and neighborhoods, it's very important to know what's going on, especially if you're looking to buy or sell. And if you do want to start that conversation, reach out to us. All of our contact info is right below. We want you to reach out. We want to answer your questions and figure out your specific situation. So hit us up. All of the info is right below. We can start that conversation even if you're 6, 12 months out, whatever it might be. Let's get rolling, start to put together a plan and get you dialed in. But let's jump into it. So the three numbers we're going to compare here is going to be the market action index. How is the market compared to last month? The median price of homes out there, and then also inventory, which is going to play a big factor into what's happening out there in the market. So first off, hopping into San Diego County as a whole, looking at the market action index, you could see where we're sitting compared to last week. We're sitting relatively the same, but we are still in a strong seller's market throughout San Diego County. And then I always like to look at the trends. So where are we now? Where have we been in the past? Just to give you some index, because this is just a number really, but it gives you a trend line as to how much demand is out there, how much supply is out there, meaning how many buyers are out there, how many sellers are out there. So you can see we have trended down over these past few weeks. Compared to last year, we're down a little bit. Compared to 2022, we're down, and compared to 2021, we're down. So all of the last few years, you can see it peaked out at 100 right here. So at some point during 2022, it was maxed out. This is when it was going nuts. This is when everything was selling for a crazy amount. So you can see we are well below that trend. Now there is still buyer demand out there, but there's also more sellers coming to the market. Now, how does that compare to 92109? In the last few weeks, the market has achieved a relative stasis point in terms of sales to inventory. You can see we're a little bit lower as far as, is it a heavy seller's market, is it a heavy buyer's market, than the San Diego County as a whole. And all of these are for single family houses. The story is a little bit different when you tap into condos. So you can see it actually did trend up this week in condos, or this month rather, in condos. But let's focus on houses for now. Now you can see over these past few years, this is the market action index going back to 2019. We did never hit that 100 number that we did hit in San Diego County as a whole. So this market as a whole has been a little bit softer. Even during that time, obviously there was a ton of demand, but it was relatively a little bit less than San Diego County as a whole. Now, going back to San Diego County, as we go down to the median list price, we have definitely seen a bump up this year. We haven't seen the peak that we did see in 2023 of a little over 1.4 million, but we're standing right at 1.4. So we are still trending up a little bit, but it has relatively flattened out. But as we hop into 92109, you can see there was a much bigger acceleration right here going into the selling season this year. So from February to now, it's jumped nearly $300,000. So that spike is continuing. It did overtake the peak of June 2023, and it's still continuing to go up. So it's showing right now that this market is a little more desirable. There's a little more demand in 92109 than San Diego County as a whole. And like I said, every city is different, every neighborhood's different. So it's good to know what's going on in your exact neighborhood. And part of the reason for the difference here, as far as prices going up in 92109 and kind of flattened out in the rest of San Diego County, is the number of homes coming on the market. Here is the inventory for San Diego County. Since January, we've seen a consistent uptrend in this number, going all the way up to above 2,100. Now we're nowhere near where we need to be for like a normalized market of about 4,500 or so during this time, but we are moving in the right direction. Now here's the same chart for 92109. And we've basically been hovering between this 20 to 30 mark of inventory for the past few years, actually. So while San Diego County, we're seeing that uptick in housing inventory compared to previous years, we're still seeing that sideways momentum going here in 92109. Now, we're not at the low lows of where we were in 2021, like 10 homes inventory, but we're also not in the higher numbers, which would put us like a normalized market like back in 2019. Now let's dive into PB/Crown Point a little bit more, 92109, just to compare where we were in past years to give you a little bit better picture of where we are now. So this is the days on market, the average days on market for May. So May of 2022, there was 19 average days on the market. When we did get a little more aggressive as far as the number of buyers out there, this is at the beginning of last year, we saw drop down to 14 days. Since then, this May, there's 27 days on the market. So just as a seller's mindset, instead of looking at it like, I'm gonna put my house on the market, it's gonna go in that first weekend. Now we're looking at 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe until the house does sell. So just kind of start thinking about that as you are thinking about putting your home on the market and putting together your timeline of when you want to move. The second number we'll look at is month supply of inventory. This is basically just, it'll give you a good gauge of how competitive the market is and how many homes are on the market compared to how many have sold or are selling. And the higher this number is, the better it is for buyers. The lower this number is, the better it is for sellers. So sitting at May of 2022 is 1.9 months. We jumped up to 2.1 months in May of 2023. Now we're at 2.7 months as of May 2024. So this is definitely trending a little bit towards a buyer's market, a little bit healthier, where maybe not even a buyer's market, but a more balanced market where sellers don't necessarily have the upper hand and buyers aren't having to compete against a ton of people out there. So just clients we're working with right now, as opposed to seeing, 5 to 10 offers, we're competing against 1, 2, maybe 3 offers. A listing we had just up in North County, it was a condo. We did have 4 offers on it. That was one of the most we've seen recently. But so there are still buyers out there. There's just not, as a seller, just to get in that mindset of like, maybe not selling that first weekend, maybe not getting a crazy amount above asking price, but there are definitely buyers out there. And this chart is the average percent of original list price received. And we can watch this trend going. The higher this number is, usually the more competitive it is, because more offers going in, it's driving up the price. And so like if a house was listed at $1.7 million, is it selling above that? Is it selling at that, which would be 100%, or below that? And this number has definitely trended down. Obviously, you can see right here over the past few years. In May of 2022, we were sitting about 106% of above list price. Last year, we dropped to 102%. Now we're sitting at 99%. So what this means for buyers, they're not necessarily having to go above and beyond that list price as long as it was set reasonable and they did their homework and kind of know where the market is. And sellers out there, like I said, back to the multiple offer situation, we're not necessarily seeing it go for way above list price. It's usually going in right at or maybe a little bit below list price, depending on how long it's sat on the market. What are the market conditions at the time? Where are interest rates, if they drop down? All those play into effect, but we're not seeing that 106% right now anymore. Now, real quick, let's dive into Crown Point and show you what's going on. So like I said, it's kind of a little more difficult. The numbers are going to be a little bit more skewed the closer you go in here. So it's really important to know the numbers I ran are for everything that's sold in the past 6 months, active, pending. I didn't really filter anything out. It's condos all the way up to multi-million-dollar homes. But let's run it and see where we're at right here. So right now there are 6 active homes on the market. There are 4 homes that are pending. And here is the most important stuff, the things that have sold, especially if you're trying to price your house. The most important number are the ones who have sold recently, because it gives you the most accurate number as far as what homes are actually going for, not what homes are in escrow for or what homes are on the market for. And as we scroll down here, you can see the market times. The average market time, which is the days on market, is 40 right here. But that doesn't tell the whole story. Here's the median number of days on the market. 14 is basically saying half the homes sold in more than 14 days and half the homes sold in less than 14 days. So market times can definitely be quick still. It just comes down house to house. And some of these got skewed by some higher priced homes as far as what they're priced at. But this one here off Riviera Drive, it actually had They withdrew it from the market for a little bit. It had some potential things going on with the HOA, so they had to take that one down. So it did have that higher market time. Some of the more, let's call them affordable in quote ones, 1.5 sold in 5 days, 490, 14 days, 467, 18 days. But that's not the entire trend. You see some of them like this one, 14 days on the market. So relatively quick for a $2.15 million home. It actually went for above that by over $50,000. It went for $2.2 million. It was like a modern house. It was real nice, dialed in, move-in ready, all that kind of stuff. So as always, it's really property specific. And if you guys are thinking about making the move, you want to dive in and figure out what is happening in your neck of the woods, whether you are buying in this particular neighborhood or selling within a particular neighborhood, feel free to reach out. I'm Chris Erickson. We got a real estate crew right here in San Diego, and we got your back on making the move here in San Diego.